Connecting with Dave Lester Payne and the Evolution Drive Time every Monday to Thursday, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Observer Radio 91.1 FM.
And a very special good afternoon, Antigua and Barbuda. It's Tuesday, the 16th day of June. And of course, Ms. Francis is with me, the disability advocate and founder of Good Humans 268. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to the listening public.
Now, you went traveling. And first, that's what we're going to discuss. The fact that you went on this mission. Fill us in to where you went and how did things pan out. So and of course, I'm looking for my stuff here to make certain. This
Uzbekistan.
One? Right, Uzbekistan. What's that place like?
It was beautiful.
How long you stayed?
So I was there for just about 11 days.
Just about 11 days? This is 2 weeks vacation. This is me, 11 days.
Work trips are not fun trips.
But I know I've been there.
4 days of the trip was just traveling. It took 48 hours to get there and 41 hours to get back. And it only took 41 hours to get back because when I got to Miami, I went to the desk and I was like, can you put me on standby for the 10 o'clock flight instead of coming home on the 1 o'clock flight? Because I would have taken 48 hours to come back home too. Oh. And there's also a time difference. So when I left Uzbekistan, which is 9 hours ahead of us, I traveled back in time.
Yeah, that's good. You know, not many people can do that. So the aim of that mission was?
So always, especially for these conversations, I want to shout out to Jeff Small Grants program right here on Island, Natalia. In 2023, they gave us the first yes. So Jeff Small Grants program, just for those who don't know, they give grants to different organizations in different sectors, and for us it was on waste management. So when we came up with the idea for our student community service recycling project, Jeff was the first person that said yes. Fast forward 3 years later, we're now going to Jeff Assembly, and there is what on Island we refer to as Big Jeff and Small Jeff. So Small Jeff is what we were able to access, that's $50,000, but Jeff can give the country over 200,000 US dollars.
Wow.
I know, right? So when I went to Uzbekistan, the conversations was surrounding.
They speak English?
So they speak Uzbek. So
who translated for you?
They had translators. So like SIDS and the different conferences, they're different translators, and they were actually
through the headphone stuff and so when you listen. Yeah, I've been through those. I know what it's like.
And there are lots of English speakers. I think the majority of the conference was actually English speakers, and I was able to speak to different individuals about how we transform waste in Antigua and Barbuda. So back in 2023, when we started our program, Dave, the idea was just I want students to recycle, plant trees, and they want them to do reforestation. The idea was each student should recycle 50 items for the year. So we had a target of 850,000 items every school year. And I will say we've now learned that recycling is bigger than schools. And it's also bigger than recycling. It's waste management. How do we change the system like the US, like Canada, to even a 3-bin system? One for recycling, one for composting, one for other waste. And the idea is to change not just culture, but legislation to back so it becomes mandatory for households, businesses, events, and everyone to manage waste. And I had the pleasure of just like fleshing out the idea as to how it would happen and the amount of money it's going to cost us. And it's going to cost us a couple mil. And the reality is, Big Jeff could fund parts of this project because it's something that is a global issue. Waste is not just an Antigua and Barbudan issue. Globally, we have issues with how we designed landfill fires. And in Uzbekistan, they actually closed 42 landfills. I had the pleasure of going and seeing their landfill. And China is building a mega waste-to-energy plant there, and I'm just hoping that Antigua and Barbuda will get to that place.
So China helping them?
China help everybody.
So we need to put up our hands for China.
When When ABS reached out to me, I literally said that on the on the interview. Can China please build us a waste to energy plant? And she's like, "You want to say that in the interview?" And I said, "Yes, because the reality is they have built the airport.
They listen to us.
They've done so many things, and the conversation surrounding waste is now a global issue. And I'm not gonna tell anybody it's not gonna happen overnight.
Yeah,
it's gonna take years for us to get to the place of even the bins placement, educating individuals, because we're talking about, so for me, I'm 32, my mom is 60, my dad is 71, we're in 3 different classes, and we're now saying, and my son is 5, all 4 of us have to change the way we manage waste. It's gonna take different strategies to get to my 70-year-old dad than my 5-year-old son. And what has to happen as a country, we have to have a plan. How are we going to move from point A to point B? And the most important part is the money. So I've been saying to individuals, and you should today, I want everybody to pick up their phone and run the calculator. I want to give you the number. Run it on your phone, Dave. Pick up your phone. Let's go.
No, you go ahead.
Look, what?
No,
Dave,
you go ahead.
Go calculate.
Ahead. No, I'm
in
not.
2011, Dave, according to the census, we had 28,000 homes. Let's round to the nearest home number.
The last census?
The last census.
10 years ago?
Yes.
11 years ago?
Yes. So you know the number is even more. But let us use the data that we do have. If 30,000 homes paid $1.50 per day, we're not talking about per person, the household itself. We are now as a country saying we want to manage waste better, and we are going to generate revenue to ensure we can buy more trucks, more machinery, and these things. $1.50 per household translates to $45 a month, just about, right? $45 times 30,000 homes is going to give us $16,200,000.
But you did that already on this program.
Correct. And the idea, so even when I went to Uzbekistan and I was saying it out loud, it was like, I'm not coming and being like, oh, I want to change the waste system. I'm telling you, I want to change the waste system, and I want to generate revenue. Because one of the things why programs fail is because there's no money attached to it. So if we can do that from households, and just like every other business, we submit our taxes every year, we now need to do waste audits. So businesses will have to submit to the National Solid Waste Management Authority waste audit. Every event, we're going to charge $1, not per event, but per ticket. And all of this money can come to $53 million. And the idea is to ensure that we use this $53 million. We're going to need more trucks. If we have 3 bins, now we need 3 mechanisms to pick up.
3 different trucks.
That means we need 3 different drivers. That means we need 3 different men at the back of the truck. That means we need 3 different facilities.
But I think that's what they used to at the back of the truck.
So that means I now need to pay. Remember, we now need to pay 2 more men at the back of the truck, And now we're not going to be sending everything to Cooks, because we're going to be sending them to 3 different facilities. So we're going to need to pay people at each facility. We're going to need a bigger accounts team. We're going to need a bigger HR team. We're going to need more water. We're going to need more people. So the money that we generate from these avenues are how we're going to be able to fund and sustain the program. One of the conversations when I was in Uzbekistan is that they closed 42 landfills. I want us to close Cooks. I want us to begin the conversation of, okay, maybe we might not be able to close it in the first 5 years, but can we close Cooks and relocate it somewhere else? And I believe the answer is yes. I don't know where on island, because you're going to have to do a feasibility study. You're going to have to look at the water table. You're going to look at transportation. There's so many factors that must go into consideration. But we have a new landfill manager, and he has worked in mega landfills. I think that he told me his biggest landfill was like 80 acres or so. He has worked in the biggest landfill in the world. He has expertise that we can use to now evaluate.
The one that we have now?
The one that we have now. He's an expert in waste management.
Okay.
If we are able to tap into his knowledge of not just the Antigua landfill that he's worked at, but all of the other landfills he's worked in the waste to energy plant, we are going to be able to change the way we manage waste. And I am hoping that UE5 Islands is not going to have the issue of fires. 5 Islands Primary is not going to have the issue of fires. We're planning to develop Fort James, and we're planning to do so many things. Waste is not going to be one of the issues, because we as a country, we're going to do things to manage waste better.
Okay, so you were there for, let's say, 11 days. You got there to the grant from...
So we got there. I was a part of the delegation for Chemicals and Youth Waste Platform, but we got there because of the work that we did with Jeff Small Grants here, because waste is Even when I got there was a booth dedicated to about waste management. They're talking about how plastic pollution is definitely killing the sea life, and it's something that, based on the UN, if we do not tackle plastic waste by 2030, there's going to be more plastic in the ocean by weight than fish. So they're now trying to come up with strategies to ensure that we stop waste from going into the waterways. Commonwealth, heads of government is happening here. Everybody, if you see the mural that we've been able to be a part of, we've been talking about buttercup sculpture.
You know what? I must interject here. I saw Viv with a little cap, and he was putting it. Where was that?
At the north side of ARG.
Oh, okay, good. I just, wanted, because I said, okay, that's her deal. And of course, Miss Francis working hard. The fact that you have the legendary one participating.
Sticking a buttercup. Can you imagine this?
Speaks volume.
I know. I will say to anybody, I've sat on the same radio program, Dave, talking about the mega flag. The flag was right behind of you at one of the interviews. And now we've moved from the flag to it being at ARG. It just shows that the possibilities of waste and what we can do. And it's just amazing. For me, when we got to the place of seeing surveyed, seeing the Prime Minister, the Governor General, and everybody sticking literal buttercups on a wall, that means the work that we're doing at Good Humans 268, we have come a long way, but we have a long way to go. And the possibilities are literally endless, because we have had a big hurrah over buttercups.
We got to take a quick break.
Stay locked to Connecting with Dave Lester Payne, right here on Observer Radio 91.1 FM.
Tuesday afternoon, the pleasure to have Joshua Francis with us, of the disability advocate and founder of Good Humans 268. Ms. Francis, when we look at where you went, the end results from that meeting, what was some of the conclusion that was garnered?
One of the biggest things is the fact that they're now taking youths more serious. The end document had youths mentioned 79 times compared to the previous document, which only mentioned youth 25. And the idea, even with Jeff 9, is to ensure youths are at the forefront and they're able to get more money to civil society. So they're talking about the smaller organizations, because Big Jeff funds island projects. They fund the bigger projects. They fund stuff like what I'm talking about, changing an entire waste management system, because projects are very unique. And even when I was speaking to Joshua, he was also a part of the delegation. It's not just the bins. The bins is an activity within the whole thing. We are going to have several consultations. We need trucks. We need an end result, because we can't spend all of this money on bins and then everything still ends up in the landfill. There's lots that's going to go into it, and it's not something that's going to happen overnight. These projects will take years, because even developing the idea is going to take some more meat. Because how do you manage 3 bins now to every household? How do we distribute the bins to the households? What mechanisms are we going to use to ensure people aren't stealing the bins? We have to procure the bins. What mechanisms are we putting to ensure, okay, we give you the bins, we procure the bins, we can identify the bins, how are we going to get them there? We need trucks, we need workers. Okay, we now have bins, trucks, workers. Where are they going to go? If we're now saying we have 3 different types of waste, that means we need 3 different facilities. Are these 3 facilities up to date? Do these 3 facilities have the machinery that's needed? And the reality is, it is already being done. So we don't need to start from scratch. I've had the pleasure, even before we started our project, I would have done the research as to the different organizations here that do waste. I've done research in Jamaica, Barbados, DC, Louisiana, and now Uzbekistan. And the idea is to continue the research. I want to do St. Kitts and Nevis, because St. Kitts and Nevis did the same thing as Barbados, where all of the households got uniform bins. I want to do Trinidad and Tobago, because Trinidad and Tobago is turning glass into new glass. I want to do St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because St. Vincent and the Grenadines is now turning waste into energy. And the idea is to compile all that we learn, go to cabinet, and then be like, these are the recommendations, these are the steps that we're going to take. And the biggest part of it is going to be education. We have to educate a generation in different gaps, and I can use my own timeline. My son is 4, I'm 32, my mom is 60, my dad is 70. We're talking about 3 different generations. That means we have to begin on the drawing board. How are we going to target a 4-year-old, a 30-year-old, and a 70-year-old? Because the strategy.
Your son is 5.
My son is going to be 5 in September. He's 4 now.
Oh, 4. Okay.
And the idea is we have to come up with strategies for every different person, because the strategy for my 5-year-old in September isn't the strategy for me, and it isn't the strategy for my parents. And what we have to also think of, what is going to be the strategy for event promoters? What is going to be the strategy for the businesses? This morning I was speaking about it on ABS, and I said to Ibis, I want Jaime on board. Jaime has the biggest event on island. If he has the biggest bar, that means he is producing the most waste when it comes to events. Ideally, the waste, we're not doing anything wrong. And I've been very clear in saying that. I'm not calling out promoters and be like, oh, they're not doing anything. They've been cleaning. But I am now saying it's not just about cleaning. It's about waste separation. It's about ensuring we have a bin for recycling, composting, and then other waste. I am saying that even Observer, you, Dave, you as a business now have to begin thinking all the waste that you generate inside this building. How can you separate it? How are we going to audit you to ensure you are doing what you're supposed to do? Let's go to Carnival. I reached out to the new minister, Dwayne George. I said to him, for Carnival, we should not have a next Carnival and not have green teams. Every mass troop should hire a green team at the back of their trucks every year. Insane, Miss, Dumbstreet, sections, all of them, they pay DJs, they pay for bathrooms, they need to pay green teams. Green teams are designed to be the last thing that comes after the band. You need 2 people on each drinks truck, and you need people at the back, and we're going to separate the waste on the road. And it's not rocket science. They're charging people for $700 for costumes.
7?
I'm glad you're just correct, because you're not 7 on one little number.
Yeah.
They can afford to pay green teams. And what has to happen?
Well, first we have to find out how much green team is going to want to charge.
So
Can't just say they can afford it.
they can afford it.
But we don't know what.
Because on average, we're talking about paying somebody between $150 to $200 for the day.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, okay.
And then you're paying for a truck, and you're paying for some garbage bags and gloves. So even if the bigger bands, you might need as much as 10 people.
So one big costume,
one
can pay for
one single costume can pay for one full green team.
Okay.
One.
I hear you.
And I'm saying so.
It's not the first time you've been saying this.
I'm calling out Insane. I'm calling out Miss. I'm calling out Dumbstreet. I'm calling out Section. Do not go on the road without a green team. Go on the road. Pay people to clean up your mess. Pay people for all the drinks, all the food that you are giving your patrons. It cannot be the government's responsibility.
Because at the end of the day, it's public works up to. It's not public works.
The Ministry of Health. Me and you, Dave.
Yeah.
For tax money.
Yeah.
Is it fair? And I've said so publicly. Is it fair that Insane, Dumbstreet Section look at the prices for the costumes, and we just ran the calculation? Even if the biggest mass troop needed 10 people, because that's what normal events people play. Okay. Let's be the devil's advocate, and you have to pay somebody $300 for Monday, $300 for Tuesday, $300 for Wednesday, because you have to pay people per day, and you have to
Which
pay.
Which Wednesdays? 2 days they play mass.
Well, the Saturday, so it's T-shirt mass.
That
Monday mass and Tuesday mass.
Okay.
Even if you have to pay a green team for each time you get on the road, the cost for one costume is the cost for your green team. And is it fair? And this is why I was saying to Ibis, and I keep saying to people, is it fair that the government of Antigua and Barbuda are held responsible when mass troops are making millions, thousands of dollars, and they leave their waste on the side of the road, and the government of Antigua and Barbuda is responsible? It cannot be fair. We have to change that.
It's not fair.
And what has to happen is, while I'm fighting for legislation change, it goes on the books for legislation now, but I am calling out mass troops, and I'm calling you out for stuff now. I want you to begin thinking differently. You are a mass troop. You're making your costumes here. We've had 4 landfill fires this year and an oil spill. How much more fires are we going to have before we recognize the problem is an individual problem? How much more times are the people in Grace Farm and the people in Five Island going to suffer because you decide you have a for your event, pack everything in a one cabin and send it down there? It is not fair. We had the big event SSU Sunnyside Up. All the ways we're having IREP this weekend. Every weekend there's a fete. Is it fair to the people in Grace Farm and Cooks that you as an event promoter, you buy the drinks, you pay for the food, you buy all the decorations, and you as an event promoter, you don't take any responsibility for that waste? It cannot be the government. It cannot be solid waste. It has to be an issue within you as an event promoter. The same thing goes back to hotels. Is it fair that they make thousands of... According to the Prime Minister, you know how much money you have to make for their paying kind of tax that they sandals? Can you imagine all of the hotels, all of the restaurants, all of the bars, they're serving their people. So they go and buy their drinks from Bryden's and from Andrew. They serve their guests. And then it becomes a public issue because we now have a landfill fire. Hotels, bars, and restaurants, I'm calling y'all out too. The managers, you all have to begin thinking about waste differently. Yes, we need legislation change, but it starts from individual businesses. If one business start, Good Humans 268, Antigua and Barbuda Waste Recycling Corporation, we can help you out with the recycling. Grow Compost Factory can help you out with the composting part. We don't need a perfect system to start. What we need is collectively. Because think about it, if 5 hotels start, we on a bandwagon. 5 mass troops start, we on a bandwagon. 5 DJs, we now have 15 different sets of people coming together saying we are going to change the way we manage waste.
And it will be better for the environment.
Better for the environment, better for the people at Cooks. And I'm calling out Kwesi Liber Grace Farm.
Who?
DJ Crutches.
Don't know.
Think about your people. Is it fair that you have all of your events and you send everything at Cooks? And I said this morning, because I said to Jaime this morning in the hallway, we have been managing waste. We have been. We've been dumping everything into one bin. And in 2026, we, not Joshua Net, not the government, we as a people have to begin seeing, okay, this time in a sense, you know.
Not working.
It not work. 4 landfill fire and an oil spill and we're not in the middle of the year. You have to start to evaluate what are we doing wrong and how do we solve the problem. The problem cannot be solved at Cooks. It's too late when it gets to Cooks. The problem has to be solved at households, businesses, events, at schools. When we're teaching food handlers, we need a 3rd day teaching people about the beauty of waste, how waste is wealth. We need to change the conversation surrounding waste. When we get to the place of legislation, we should have thousands of people say, that it makes sense, boss. I want people to think about it. If all of the mass troops are going to town and what they do is they take their garbage off of the truck and they rest it on the side, is it fair? That cannot be fair to our government. Put your garbage in the back of one truck in the back and you ensure your garbage is well sorted. All of these events for Carnival, ARG is going to be ram-packed. What is going to happen to all that waste? We cannot keep sending, and don't take my word for it. Go back, because Observer have published all of the papers. 4 landfill fires and an oil spill. We as a people, not just the government of Antigua and Barbuda, I'm calling out all the managers for all the hotels of them. All of the distributors, you also have a responsibility. How much more Heineken you gonna bring in here? What are you doing when you bring in all in Heineken Day? When you bring in all in Carib Day, what are you doing as a company? When you produce all those waters, Oasis, Paradiso, Epicureum, Carib Blue, what are you doing about all those things that you've produced? We're now producing local beer. What are you doing as a production company to ensure your waste doesn't end up at Cooks? Making sure that we do not, at the end of the year, when we come back here, Dave, we should not be saying, oh, we move from 4 landfills to 10, 4 landfill fires to 10. We have to begin somewhere. It doesn't need to be perfect. And the idea is to get everybody thinking differently about waste. Fed promoters, you have to do better. DJs, you have to do better. Managers, you have to do better. Business owners, you have to do better. And to homeowners, you have to do better. We all have to begin thinking about waste differently and understanding that the waste that we generate, it doesn't go into the oblivion. It goes to Cooks. And Cooks is a problem.
Cook's running over.
It's right. And what we've done, we've cleared more land. What they've done at Cooks, they've cleared more land. And
to dump more garbage.
to dump more. And are we going to keep clearing more land? Are we going to keep when the part gets full? And I think that again goes back to the part of my 4-year-old. A strategy needs to be, everybody needs to have a day when they visit the landfill, because when you visit the landfill, it gives you a different appreciation of waste. And because I've had the pleasure of visiting so many different landfills and visiting so many different recycling facilities, I say with confidence, we can do better with waste. And I'm not saying so because I'm assuming. I'm saying so because Barbados gave all of those houses bins in Barbados. I'm saying so because St. Kitts gave all of the bins in St. Kitts. I'm saying so because in Louisiana, they're turning glass into sand. I'm saying so because in DC, there's a 3-bin system. I'm saying so because I went to Uzbekistan, and Uzbekistan closed down 4 landfills, and they're now building waste to energy plant. I am saying so because I've seen it, and I've read the different legislations, and I know it's possible in Antigua and Barbuda. I don't expect it to be perfect overnight. I don't even expect 2 years.
Big, you know?
We're not that big. I am saying in the next 5 years, if we're able to get, because I am one, and Dave, you don't like when I say so, but you never be a no, me one like a nobody who would chat me out. So I need bigger people to come and chat them out. So I need the bigger chains of hotels to come and be like, okay, what she say really makes sense, you know? How much alcohol have we served, and what's happening to all of that? I need tourism authority behind of me. So it's no longer just this black girl from January that run she out, you know. It's now when we're leaving Antigua and Barbuda, the tourism authority is saying our hotels are doing this. We can now brag about it. When the DJs link up, they say we are now doing this for our events. When the mass troops link up, they're saying we're now doing this towards Carnival. And the idea is to get the different subsections of the population. And I don't want anybody to think we're not looking for perfection. We're not going to get it right the first time. Carnival this year might have some problems. Carnival next year I have some problems.
So we need to start.
But we need to start. And then we're going to be able
make
to
an effort.
now, okay, you know, so my estimation is 2 people per drinks truck, and then we need 4 people on the road. So how many ever drinks truck you have? You need 2 people per drinks truck, and you need maybe we might evaluate. You actually don't need 2 people per drinks truck. You need 1. Maybe it's not 4 people on the road. You need 6. These little crinks we're not gonna know until we start.
We try.
Until we try. Is it? And I want the people of Antigua and Barbuda to begin thinking. Is it fear that these event promoters and these mass troops dirty our streets, and then the government of Antigua and Barbuda pays men and women to pick up the garbage, and then we send everything to Cooks? It is not fair to that community down there. So what we have to do is like, okay, that is where it's happening now. What can we do as a country to reduce the effects of the landfill? And then we hold it with pride, and you say, okay, I tried this year. And then we will have audits. Okay, I bought this amount of drinks, and this is the amount I was able to divert. And then we can make it a thing where they get medals for being the most sustainable event promoter, the most sustainable mass troop. The idea is for us to change the way waste is seen.
We acknowledge what they're doing.
We acknowledge, and so I'm not just saying doing it. We're going to have systems in place, but I'm saying it's this year. It might not happen this year, but we begin the conversations. I just saw that the Honorable Michael met with all of his people. Michael gonna need to meet with all the Fed promoters. He gonna need to meet with all the hotels. He have plenty more meetings for do, because it needs to come from the head too, and we also need to sit down round a round table and begin talking. Okay, what strategy do you use? Maybe your strategy might be different than mine. Maybe we can combine, because every business is different. Every hotel is different. It's not going to be a one cap fit all, one size fit all. But what we must do is begin talking about waste. We have to see waste as wealth. I just tell you $16,200,000 just from households. When we do events, when we do businesses, we can make $53 million. Can you imagine what $53 million can do to our economy? It stimulates growth. Can now I have two more man pan the garbage truck, and then give the girl in the money if we could do the hairdresser work. I could do our nails. I could go and buy more Kentucky. It's going to stimulate the economy.
Kentucky eat health food.
No, Dave, I'm a realistic person.
I hear what you're saying. But tell me this. Who all went with you on this trip from Antigua?
So I was the only representative from Antigua, yes.
You mentioned some person's name.
So Joshua is from Trinidad. We've had somebody from Trinidad, Kenya, Indonesia, Petit Martinique, I can't remember the next two countries. I'm sorry, ladies. But there were 6 of us from around around the world, and all of us went on to the Chemical Waste and Youth platform, and all of us are dealing with some form of waste and doing something in our countries to educate and change the way waste is looked at.
At the end of the day, when you left, did they give you guys an agenda, a formula?
So we went to the different sessions, and all of us were there. And I will say, with these work trips are not fun trips.
I know
Put it
that.
out.
I know that.
But we left with a wealth of knowledge. We left feeling empowered. We left with the possibilities of them funding projects on the ground, and that is the important part. And we were able to be in rooms where they were talking about different stuff. Like in Antigua and Barbuda, we have a national steering committee. For argument's sake, so for Jeff Small grants, there's a steering committee. A committee is a group of people who come together to make sure that the projects that they fund, they are fair and everything goes through its proper channel. So it's not a situation where, because I know Natalia and I submit a proposal, she automatically approves the proposal. It's done fairly so different individuals can get proposals. And I didn't recognize that there are different countries that do not have steering committees. So that was a big discussion about, ensuring that all countries have steering committees and ensuring that the steering committees are balanced. So it's a member of the government, it's a member of civil society, someone from youth, and someone from vulnerable populations. And these conversations just really see that what's happening in Antigua, again, it doesn't necessarily happen in Indonesia, it doesn't necessarily happen in Kenya. And Jeff is trying to ensure it standardizes certain things.
Now, you've been there, you're back home. Of course, the relevant authorities, I know you, and of course I know how aggressive you can be to get the information to the relevant authority, and I do hope that you're successful getting the ear of these people that you need to speak to. But let's continue with the home front, the disability situation in Antigua and Barbuda.
So for individuals don't know, so I was diagnosed with osteoarthritis at 24, about 8 years ago. I'm 32 now. And in 2020, to be specific, I was removed from the schedule. And
the
then
schedule of
the workplace. So I was a teacher. I teach for the government of Antigua and Barbuda, and I was working at Shirax at the time. And I was removed from the schedule. And 5 years, 7 months and 4 days later, so the judgment actually, so the public now knows about the judgment, but the judgment was actually read on the 24th of May. There are lots of fine details with court, I will say to anybody. Court is a thing. 5 years later, we now have a judgment that I was wrongfully terminated. And even in the judgment used the words as oppressive and harsh, and the way in which the company carried out their dismissal, no termination letter. You removed me from the schedule and never paid me. You did not do the full examination. And I will say to anybody, the win is for the disability community. So while my face and my name is there, the company offer, and I have had multiple posts on my social media page. It's Josh Winnett, Facebook. I'm encouraging individuals to go and read. There's 7 parts. I think there are at least 2 more to go up on my social media page where I've been sharing the communication that was sent to me, Dave. And just to show, if you are really a reader, and you have to be a reader to understand, read the letters that were sent to me. Read the WhatsApp messages that were sent to me, the gruesome truth behind being disabled in this country. I think it's part 2 or 3. You're gonna read that the company, not me, I didn't want to go to the union. The company took me to the union. The company decided that they want me to do an examination. But in the WhatsApp message, they expected me to pay. And then I would have responded, I don't have any money to pay. If you are sending me for an examination, you should pay. And then they said, get the receipts and we're going to make the payment. And the doctor would have recommended I should have done an X-ray because I have slight scoliosis also, and I should have done an MRI. The company refused to pay for the MRI because they said they could not afford the MRI. The company. So bear in mind, a company when I left, the water was $21. They decided, I want people to listen carefully. They took me to the union. They brought my health on board. They then said, we want to do an examination. They then turn around and say, you pay for your examination that we asked you to do. And then when I said I didn't have any money to pay, the company decides, okay, you don't have no money for pay. I don't have no money for pay either. So we're going to do a half Cox examination and then create a report, and then we never issue no termination letter. I want people to read the messages, because it's important for people to understand the foolishness surrounding disability. And for me, because I'm an advocate and I believe I'm a fighter, my prayer to God, I don't want to be a fighter, Father Jesus. I don't want to be a fighter. I want to be a hot girl, Dave. I want to be a hot girl in the soft life era. Why am I fighting the battles of life? I have screenshots from 2020. So then the company says, okay, we're not going to pay for the MRI. We're going to pay for the X-ray. And talk about the medical practitioner. I'm not calling the name, but go on my Facebook page. The medical practitioner in this country, they produce a report which they should not have produced. Because if you as a medical practitioner you said you need to do 5 things for me to give you an analysis, and I say I am only doing 2, why are you producing a report? You produce a report and you don't send the patient the report. You send the company the report, because you said to me, and I have it in the screenshots, we cannot give you your report. So me go to the doctor, you know, and me with my 2 old foot go and then examine my 2 old foot. I go up to Mount St. John, and Mount St. John do the X-ray on Joshuanette Francis. And then the doctor says, I cannot give Joshuanette Francis the report. I have to give the company the report, and then the company gives you. The company gets my report, and the company gets the report in December. They don't communicate anything January. They don't communicate anything February. They send a letter in March the 3rd to be specific. The letter is
of what year?
2021. So I want people to understand timeline. I came off the schedule October. So November, December, January, February, March, they send communication saying, well, we're not really terminated. We're giving you a severance. You full. You don't. I don't know why you. I don't want to hire you no more. Cause you have a disability. You have problems in our country.
In our company.
In our company, they offer me $6,000, Dave. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want. Do not take my word for it. I have a copy of the letter on my Facebook page. Go and look my page. I went to check the engine. My page is open today. They offer me $6,000. I'm like, are crazy people than me? No, but a crazy people, how I deal with? How do you not pay for the full examination, not give me a termination letter, which is a breach of the labor code, C section 41, I think? You must issue someone a termination letter. They never issued me a termination letter. One of the complexities of my case, I want the transcript. I don't care how much it costs. When they pay me the money, part of the money, I have to buy the transcript from court, because I want people to read exactly what the attorney came to court and said.
We got to take a commercial break.
This is Observer Radio.
Stay locked to Connecting with Dave Lester Payne, right here on Observer Radio 91.1 FM.
Joshuanette Francis is with us, and of course, the disability advocate and founder, Good Humans 268. Judgment was handed down and in favor of Joshuanette Francis. And they have the exact figures now, 61,000 something.
Yeah.
And you were telling us, based on the attitude and the facts that the doctors decided that you can't get anything from them, it goes to the company.
And it's just.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Didn't the company pay for whatever they're going?
So they paid for the X-rays and they paid for the actual doctor visit. They did not pay for the MRI. And to date, I even asked that the court should have insisted that they pay for the MRI. The court should have insisted that they do a full examination, even if it's 5 years later, a full examination. And I'm not speaking for Joshuanette, I'm speaking for the disability community. Any person who has a disability and you as a company decide you're going to terminate this person, you as the company must pay for a full examination. And when the full examination is done, we can make a determination, because we're saying, I want people to be very understanding. And I want people to say $61,000 isn't any money. My mortgage was $320,000. Go back on my social media. Shout out to the Eastern Caribbean Amalgamated Bank. I was initially approved January 2020, reapproved October for $300,000 to build a house. You take me off of your schedule, I lose that opportunity, and now I only get $61,000. Did I really win? Because legal fees will eat up 25, which I'm not even exaggerating, because you have to pay a fee to represent me, and then they get a percentage of it. 25% of this money is already gone. So the money that left back, I can't even build a boathouse. I cannot even go to Willie D and build a boathouse. So did I really win? Even when you run the calculation, I've been fighting for 5 years. Calculate that 60,000 divided by the 5 years. How much did it cost for me to fight every year? Think about all of the phone calls, all of the follow-ups, all of the meetings, all of the printed documents. Did I really win? I won in principle. And I said this to two ladies who were having a conversation initially, and I said, I felt, because I wasn't on island when the judgment was read. So I only heard on the other line. And I felt that I lost. I felt as though while I won in principle, I felt as though, and I still feel that way, that I lost. And it's very vivid. And again, people see the win and they think it's all great. But the Monday, so the judgment was the Friday, and we didn't speak about my trip to Young Leaders of America's initiative, but the final pitch competition was the Monday. The judgment was the Friday. And the Monday, I still could not hold up myself. A part of my pitch. And I will say to anybody, Peach, the young lady from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, she was phenomenal. And if I had my A game, I probably would have come home with a trophy. But that particular day, I was devastated. I was just over it. Like I say to anybody again, people see work trips and they see all of the glitz and the glams, but they don't see all of the things that goes in the background. When we got to court, we spent 6 hours in court for February 2nd. And we spent 6 hours in court. And I want people to go on my social media. We did not need to spend 6 hours in court. Because in the judgment that the doctor gave, you will see that their lawyer, at the end of the 6 hours, just before we close, she's like, we conceded. We already admitted that we did not give her a termination letter. And the president of the industrial court said, if you as the attorney, you are saying you already conceded and you are willing to pay her for doing her wrong, why did we need to come to court and spend 6 hours? Why did she need to go on the stand and your HR going on? You literally wasted the court time. And I will say to anybody, I am sharing my story, and someday we're going to have a full video talking about the little nitty-gritty details of the fight, because it's not about Joshua Net. It is about individuals with disabilities. It's about Dehana. Dehana is a child from Potter's Primary that I've spoken to on multiple occasions. Kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. 5 years. Every single time she needed to use the bathroom, she needed to pee, Dave. She needed to poo. She had to ask somebody for help because we did not have an accessible bathroom. We were able to get the accessible bathroom in, not for the September morning when school started in grade 5, the December the bathroom was done, so she was able to get the bathroom. Can you imagine a child, her mental health? I want people to know when she was in kindergarten and grade 1, the school, fairness, we talk about children, you want to protect them. They called her mother. Can you imagine a child needed to pee? And they have to call home the mother and say, can you come and take your child to pee? Government system. When we have a Disability Act in 2017, I am sharing my story and I want others to share theirs. We need to begin rallying behind disability. And I want people to know, I have a mild disability. You see me jump, laugh, dance, split. I'd be doing the most. And if they can do that to me, who is not severely disabled, what happens to the other subsections of the society? What are we doing for our people who are in need? It speaks volume to our country. It speaks about how we see the old and how we see the disabled. It speaks about the standard of our country, and it look good. In a look good, Dave. In a look good, tall.
Now, the fact we're here and your work continues. Good Human 268. How are things with Good Humans 268?
I want to change legislation for waste, and I want to give individuals with disabilities jobs. And today, and I will say since the judgment, I've been tired. I'm still tired. Because there are days I still just... I question, and again, and I'm being honest. People see $61,000 and think, oh, it's so much money. It's not. I lost my mortgage. I lost so many things. The $61,000 isn't going to even put a dent. And then we started Good Humans 268, and Good Humans 268 has come with its own set of challenges. Yesterday was the 15th of June. 20 full months I have not been paid. That means ECAB, who give me remember them go for give me a little mortgage, but ECAB gave me my money for my loan. When they issue the money and me even decide me to pay ECAB alone is $20-something thousand. So $20,000 on gone to legal fees, $20,000 on gone to ECAB. What the rest money they? It's nothing in the grand scheme of things. And ECAB isn't the only person. I haven't been paid for the last 20 months. So that means it's not just ECAB, it's ACB, it's my insurance, it's all these things that needs to be paid. And the reason why I have not been paid for the last 20 months is because Good Humans has come with its own fair share of challenges. And Good Humans started because I want to do different things for individuals with disabilities. I want our voices heard. I want to see change. And I will say to anybody, and I was literally smiling, I'm willing to die for this cause. I'm willing to be a Rosa Parks. I'm willing to be a Marcus Garvey. I'm willing to die fighting for individuals with disabilities, because I know what it's like to cry yourself to sleep. I know what it's like to have a mortgage. ECAB told me, go on my Facebook page. I don't take my word for it. In order for us to release the funds for your mortgage, one thing you have to do is put $12,000 on your bank account as a security. I call all my friends, all of them. Well, I need $12,000. I know you can't give me $12,000. I begged here, begged there. Can you imagine the work that I put in to first even be approved for a mortgage on my own? At 25, the amount of hours I had to work, the house plans and all that happened, and a company decides you are disabled, we do not value disabled people, we do not care about your feelings, your goals, your ambitions, we're taking you off of the schedule, we're not going to pay you when we take you off the schedule, we're not going to pay for this full examination, you a dog in this whole grand scheme of things, because we have money, we are big, we are great, you not been on body, you take away my life goals, you ruin my trajectory of life, and now 5 years later they be like, people rejoicing, but did I really win? And the answer is no, Dave. I won in principle, and now we have someone with a disability who has stood up and fought the fight for years, but did I really win? And while I won in principle, what all did I lose? When they give me the money, Dave, I cannot build a boathouse that Willie the offer. I cannot go and build a boathouse. So my children need to live in the man place. So did I win?
Oh my goodness, you're easy.
I love to talk the truth. And I want others with individuals to begin talking about disability. Because Dave, if more people were talking about Dehana and all of the different individuals with disabilities and the injustice, she would not have waited 5 years. And I want to be that annoying person. I was fired, and so, there's a child named Dehana. I want to say it everywhere I go, so people now talk about disability. I want to talk about Kimoy, I want to talk about St. Clair, I want to talk about Jermaine. What has to happen with disability is we need to begin talking about it so much that people think are annoying, but that will force the system. The reality is, the Disability Act, on record in our legislation, 2017, Dave. We're in 2026 and the tribunal isn't up. The council isn't up. Why did we go? Yes. Why did we go and form a law, but then not enforce the law? Why are we doing things backward? Why are individuals with disabilities still fighting for basic rights? Dehana is going to secondary school in September, and I'm now having conversations about what happens in secondary school. And I said to somebody, so they never know she got to grow up. She go patterns for 5 years. They never know at some point she was going to graduate. And now she's going to graduate. What is the plan for now? She needs to go to secondary school. What is the plan for transportation? What is the plan for bathrooms? What is the plan to ensure she might not be able to do everything, but we can give her somewhat of a normal life in secondary school? She was in school for 7 years. 7 years, and now we're now scrambling like headless chicken. And we're saying, oh, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do that. But we didn't know that 5 years ago. We didn't see her growing up, and she's not the only one. Adele is overrun. School for the Deaf is overrun. And I'm asking, when we started our project and I went to School for the Deaf, their role was 16. The role is now 32. Is it fair that the School for the Deaf has literally doubled their role, but the building is still the same size? The teaching cohort is still the same size. Adele has been crying out for years for help. All of those children who leave from Adele, who leave from Victory Center, who leave from School for the Blind, nothing is happening with them when they become adults. The rehabilitation center, it's been down since 2020. And I can talk about the different things with disability. What has to happen, Dave? We need to talk about it more so change can happen.
Justin Francis, of course, always a pleasure to be with you. Of course, the force and the things that you fight for, they're very human. And I do hope that along the way, others will join the fight and succumb to the things that you're requesting for the good of human beings in Antigua and Barbuda. Thanks a lot for being with us. You know I'm going to be always rocking the case, and we will talk another time.
Thank you for having me.
Stay safe, and here's hoping the carnival fets and all the fets in Antigua get some of the things that you're saying we ought to get to save the government, well, us, the taxpayers, some money. All right? So stay safe. Thanks for being with us today. And, of course, I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you for anyone who is listening.
Well, they're listening. They're listening. We need them to act on it, right?
Yes.
Stay safe now.
All right.
Top of the hour.